Good morning. We'll be doing a national anthem test in a few seconds. It's just a test. National anthem test coming up.
Oh, Canada, our home and native land, true patriot love in all of us command. With glowing hearts we see thee rise, the true north, strong and free. From far and wide, O Canada, we stand on guard for thee. God keep our land glorious and free. O Canada, we stand on guard for stand on guard for thee.
Check 1 2. Testing audio. Check 1 2. Testing audio. Check 1 2 3. Check 1 2. Testing audio. Check 1 2.
As we begin today's meeting, we'd like to acknowledge that we are gathering here today on the traditional territories of the Mississauga, the Credit, Haudenosaunee, and Wendat nations, who have called this land home since time immemorial. We recognize the Mississaugas of the Credit as the original rights holders and signatories of Treaty 19, the Adjutant's Purchase of 1818, and the agreements made therein are foundational to our nation-to-nation relationship. As a city, we are committed to our ongoing role in reconciliation through meaningful action rooted in truth, justice, and respect. We are grateful to the original caretakers of this land and have ensured and will ensure they're able to work, play, and live in Brampton now and in the future. Please all rise for the singing of our national anthem, followed by a moment of personal reflection.
Oh, Canada, our home and native land, true patriot love in all of us command. With glowing hearts we see thee rise, the true north, strong and free. From far and wide, O Canada, we stand on guard for thee. God keep our land glorious and free. O Canada, we stand on guard for stand on guard for thee.
We have members of Council Brar, Power, and Medeiros in the chamber, and online we have Councilor Vicente.
Sorry, through you, Chair. Online, we have Councillor Vicente, Councillor Tour, and Deputy Mayor Singh. And Councillor Santos and Councillor Keenan have sent their regrets. They're away on city business. And I believe Councillor Paleshi and Councillor Fortini will be joining us shortly.
Okay, thank you. So we're now at the approval of the agenda stage, and we have some updates from the clerk.
Through Mayor Brown, the following revisions have been added to the original agenda. 7.2, delegations advocating for Canada's role, peace and justice in the state of Palestine. Delegation number 4 was added. 8.1, government relations matters. The presentation has been added. 14.1, correspondence from Sylvia Roberts has been added. And this morning, bylaw 18.1 was amended just to update the formatting. No changes to the content.
Thank you. So we have a motion.
Mayor Brown, sorry,
Yes.
I'm just on the board.
Yes, Councilor Tour?
I don't know if Madam Clerk said this, but there is another added delegation request from the NCCM.
Okay. The clerk will so note. It's N, not M, NCCCM. Okay. Okay, I have a motion moved by Councillor Power, seconded by Councillor Berard to approve the agenda as amended. All those in favor? Motion carries. Do any members have a declaration of pecuniary interest under the Municipal Conflict of Interest Act for any matter considered on today's agenda? Seeing none, the clerk will so note for the meeting minutes. We have the following council minutes before us today. Minutes City Council regular meeting October 15th, 2025. Does any members have any questions or comments regarding the minutes? Seeing none, we have a motion moved by Councillor Brar, seconded by Councillor Tor, to approve the minutes as published and circulated. All those in favor? Motion carries. This takes us to our consent motion. I'll start reading the relevant agenda items. Members can identify any items to be held for debate. 8.1, Government Relations Matters. 10.21, Staff Report, Municipal Election Information Update. 10.31, Staff Report, Second Quarter Reserves and Reserve Funds Report. 10.32, Staff Report, 2025 Second Quarter Budget Report. 10.33, Staff Report, Supplementary Information Purchasing Activity Quarterly Report. 12.1, Minutes Planning and Development Committee. 12.2, Summary of Recommendations Committee of Council. 14.1, Correspondence from Sylvia Roberts. 15.1 is held for delegations. 16.1, Referred Matters List. 19.1, Closed Session Minutes. 19.2, Closed Session Notes to File. 19.3, Closed Session Verbal Update. That should be held. Okay. I have a motion moved by Councillor Tor, second by Councillor Power to approve the consent motion. All those in favor? Motion carries. This takes us to our proclamations. We have 3 proclamations today, and I believe Councillor Tor wanted to read the first proclamation to celebrate the rich Turkish Canadian community in our city.
Thank you, through you, Mayor Brown. For Turkish Republic Day, whereas October 29th celebrates the Republic Day of Turkey, this year commemorates 101 years of the declaration of the Republic in 1923 by Mustafa Kemal Atatürk, the founder of the Turkish Republic. Canadians of Turkish descent have played a significant role in the educational, cultural, economic, and civic development of our community through sharing their culture, their rich cultural heritage, and through their dedication to the responsibilities of good citizenship. On this day, we celebrate the rich heritage of the Turkish Canadian community, which contributes to the diversity and cultural mosaic of Brampton. Therefore, I, Mayor Patrick Brown, on behalf of the Brampton City Council, do hereby proclaim October 29, 2025 as Turkish Republic Day in the city of Brampton.
And I believe we have a flag raising coming up tomorrow. So those that are not on regional council, please join us for that flag raising. Do we have a member of the Turkish community to respond to the proclamation? I don't see any, so I assume that opportunity will be tomorrow at the flag raising. Our next proclamation is for Carbon Monoxide Awareness Week, and Councillor Brar has been busy raising awareness about that. So Councillor Brar, over to you.
Thank you, through you, Mr. Mayor. Carbon Monoxide Awareness Week. Carbon monoxide, or CO, is an odorless, colorless, poisonous gas that can be deadly. This week, we highlight the dangers of carbon monoxide while raising awareness to help best protect residents and visitors in our city. Brampton Fire and Emergency Services urges you to protect your family from the dangers of carbon monoxide. Residents, businesses, and building operators should have working carbon monoxide alarms installed in their homes, places of work, and their buildings. As of January 1st, 2026, new requirements are coming into effect, which will require a working carbon monoxide alarm to be installed adjacent to all sleeping areas and on every story without sleeping areas. The City of Brampton is committed to ensuring the safety and security of all those living in and visiting our city. By understanding the dangers of carbon monoxide and taking simple precautions, we can protect ourselves, our loved ones, and the broader community, helping saving lives and making our community safer. Therefore, I, Mayor Patrick Brown, on behalf of Brampton City Council, do hereby proclaim November 1st to the 7th of 2025 as Carbon Monoxide Awareness Week in the City of Brampton.
Do we have anyone from Brampton Fire that is here to speak to that today? I don't see, but we'll make sure this social media awareness continues for this effort. Oh, Bill, you want to please? Yes.
Through the mayor, just a reminder to check your smoke alarms, check your CO alarms coming into this time of season. Extremely important. It'll save lives. Thank you.
Once a fire chief, always a fire chief.
That's right.
And I would note, we've had a pretty aggressive campaign on fire alarms, carbon monoxide awareness with our effort to take illegal units into compliance. And so appreciate all the work that Brampton Fire has done on that. Okay, next up is Celebrate Research Week. And I was at the launch of this institute. It's really exciting what Osler is doing. It's incredible. Celebrate Research Week. We recognize and acknowledge research and innovation in Brampton, celebrating the achievements of institutions, organizations, and everyday residents who help advance Brampton's reputation as an innovation hub. The City of Brampton is committed to fostering innovation, advancing research, and promoting community health. Through the Economic Development Office and Invest Brampton, the city provides support to accelerated programs, innovation hubs, and local startups. Research plays a vital role in driving economic growth and positive change in our communities. Brampton is home to a vibrant research and innovation ecosystem that includes manufacturing, technology, and healthcare. The new Osler Research Institute for Health Innovation, ORIHI, and the establishment of the Toronto Metropolitan University TMU School of Medicine, located in Brampton, mark a significant milestone in our city's pursuit of excellence in healthcare, education, research, and innovation. This week, we highlight the vibrant spirit of innovation, collaboration, and progress within our city, which contributes to the quality of life for residents through community-based research and academic partnerships. I'm not sure if someone from Economic Development wants to speak to that. We will have a delegation at 7.1 from the hospital, but just to say it is really exciting the amount of research that happens in the city. You know, obviously Osler is their institute's the flagship, but I was with Councillor Paleschi and Brar at Medtronic, and the work that they are doing there is pretty exciting. You look at Boston Scientific. There's a lot of areas where there is research happening in our city, specifically in the health space. I know our deputy mayor chairs our Med Tech Task Force, and I think there's only more of that to come. But at 7.1, we're going to hear from Tiziana Riviera about the research happening at Osler. So looking forward to hearing about that, which is actually our next delegation. But maybe we do. We'll do the photos for the proclamations, and then we can go to the delegations. Okay. Yep. Okay. And the monoxide one with Bill. Okay, our next item is delegation 7.1, and we have a delegation from Tiziana Rivera, Executive Vice President, Quality Research and Chief Nursing Executive, OSA Research Institute for Health Innovation, and the collective of community academic and research organizations for Celebrate Research Week. Welcome, Tiziana. I know Council's excited and the community's excited to hear you share about some of the great work that's happening.
Thank you so much, and good morning, Mayor Brown and members of council. Thank you for having us here again today. On behalf of William Osler Health System, the Osler Research Institute for Health Innovation, and our community partners, community and regional partners, thank you for proclaiming November 17th to the 21st as Celebrate Research Week in the city of Brampton. This year, Celebrate Research Week has truly grown into a community-owned celebration of research and innovation. What began last year as a regional initiative now stands as a national recognition of the impact of research on health, well-being, and innovation, and it happened here at Brampton first. Here in Brampton, we'll be hosting a series of events and initiatives that really showcase research that connects directly to our community. As a community, we are profiling research that improves care, strengthens systems, and supports healthier lives. We are especially proud that community partners are in attendance today, many of whom will stand to be recognized, please. Wellfort Community Health Services, Sheridan College, please stay standing. Brampton Board of Trade, Brampton Venture Zone, City of Brampton at MedTech, Task Force, Humber Polytechnic, TMU School of Medicine, and many other organizations that bring research to life in our neighborhoods and workplaces. Yes, please, let's clap. Thank you. In 2025, we are proud to be working with national partners such as Research Canada and Community-Based Research Canada to see Celebrate Research Week acknowledged on the national stage. This moment of pride for all of us, one that reflects Brampton's growing leadership in innovation and health research across Canada. Celebrate Research Week 2025 brings together an extraordinary mix of innovation and community. This year's program features an opening day at Brampton City Hall, Innovation District Tour, the inaugural Ori High Research featuring studies in population health, health systems, and personalized health. This calendar has representation more than 20 organizations, including those with us today. If you can just advance the slide, that would be great because it shows you the pieces that are going to be happening during that week. Today's proclamation beautifully reflects this shared vision, one that celebrates Brampton's leadership in research, community partnerships, education, and innovation. It recognizes the collective efforts of our community health organizations, academic partners, innovators, and entrepreneurs who are shaping a healthier, more prosperous future. And it reinforces that Brampton is not only a place where research happens, but where research belongs. Thank you again, Mayor Brown and members of council, for your continued support and for this important proclamation. We invite you and all members of the community to join us from November 17th to the 21st as we celebrate research, creativity, and innovation together. Thank you.
So maybe we could share that on social media for residents to see, but this is a very busy week. There's a lot happening publicly, and so looking to Natalie from comms, I'm sure she's, or Jason, but this maybe we can put that into a graphic, let residents know there's so many opportunities to participate in Research Week. It's really extraordinary how much research happens in Brampton. So thank you for sharing this. Okay, this takes us to our next item. Oh, do we need a motion to receive? So motion moved by Councillor Brar, a former Osler employee, seconded by Councillor Paleschi, who's always bragging about the work of Medtronic, to receive this delegation. All those in favor? Motion carries. Our next delegation is from Adham Daibas, a community organizer, Brampton for Palestine. Adam, please come forward to the podium. You have 5 minutes.
Test. Good afternoon, Mayor, Councillor, and members of the Brampton community. My name is Adham Diabas, and as a Palestinian Canadian and a proud resident of this city, I rise today in strong support of this motion brought by Councillor Tour, a motion that speaks to our shared humanity and to Brampton's moral duty to stand on the right side of history. This is not a foreign issue. It is a moral one. Brampton is home to one of Canada's most diverse and compassionate communities. We have stood together in the face of injustice before. Brampton was among the first Canadian cities to call for a ceasefire back in November 2023. And today we are called to stand again for the people of Gaza and for the universal principles of human rights and dignity that binds us all. Since October 2023, Gaza has endured one of the most devastating military assaults in modern history. Over 70,000 Palestinians have been killed, the vast majority civilians, half of them children. Entire families have been erased from the civil registry. Hospitals, schools, universities, and mosques have been reduced to rubble. Israel has violated the ceasefire agreements repeatedly, including the one reached on October 10th. And just yesterday, it fully resumed the bombing of Gaza City. The genocide in Gaza has not ended. It has only changed form. This is not a conflict between equals. It is the deliberate destruction of a people, the Palestinian people, the systematic targeting of life itself. The United Nations, Amnesty International, and Human Rights Watch all have called it what it is, a genocide. The evidence is overwhelming, the intent, the language, the destruction, the death toll. And yet, despite these grave warnings, Israel continues to bomb Palestinians today, and Canada continues to supply weapon components to Israel. We cannot ignore our own government's role in this. Canada has recognized the state of Palestine. It claims to stand for peace and human rights. Yet our federal government continues to allow arms exports to Israel. Weapons and components are being used in this genocide. This is hypocrisy. This is complicity. When Canadian parts appear in warplanes bombing Gaza, when Canadian trade fuels a siege that starves children, our silence becomes participation. This motion calls for something simple and moral, a two-way arms embargo. Canada must stop arming those who commit war crimes, and Canada must stop profiting from the suffering of innocent Palestinians. And that's what this motion is about: integrity, accountability, humanity. It's about saying that Brampton will not be complicit, even if our federal government chooses to be. It's about saying our city refuses silence in the face of a genocide. Our city rejects apartheid. Our city chooses compassion and justice over complicity and indifference. By signing the Apartheid-Free Communities Pledge, Brampton will join a growing movement from municipalities across the world standing for equality, for international law, and for a future free from segregation and oppression. The motion also addresses an urgent humanitarian crisis. Thousands of Canadians are desperate to bring loved ones from Gaza to safety. Mothers, fathers, siblings, children, but the current visa program is broken, riddled with red tape, arbitrary denials, and slow processing. We must urge our federal government to transform the Gaza temporary resident visa program, to make it fully humanitarian, to reunite families, and to act with urgency this crisis demands, to put compassion before bureaucracy. Because that's the point of all of our diversity, all of our empathy, and all our pride as a city, if we cannot act when people are starving and dying before our eyes. Ladies and gentlemen, the motion is about moral clarity. When history looks back on this moment, it will ask, did we speak up when the world witnessed the destruction of Palestinian life in Gaza? Did we choose courage over comfort? Justice over neutrality? Let us send a clear message, our federal government, to our residents, and to the world, that this city chooses, that this city stands for peace, for justice, and for freedom. Because silence in the face of genocide is complicity, and Brampton must not choose complicity. This exact motion has already passed in the city of Burnaby, British Columbia, and St. John's, Newfoundland. So there's absolutely no reason for the motion not to pass today. Let Brampton be the first city in Ontario to lead by example, to lead with courage, conscience, and conviction. I urge you, councilors, please vote in favor of this motion. Thank you.
Thank you. Our next delegation is Jaya Prashir, student activist from Brampton for Palestine. Up to the clerk.
Hello everyone, my name is Jia Prashar and I am in grade 12 and I go to Harold M. Brathwaite. Never again, a phrase etched into society, present on the educational level to remind us of Canada's wrongdoings to Indigenous peoples. Never again, we say, as we continuously normalize the deaths of over 70,000 Palestinians, many of whom were broadcasting their final moments on social media, hoping to be listened to. What is this hypocrisy? We are watching the same colonial justifications, the same idea of manifest destiny repeat itself through the perspective of the chosen people. We are watching the brutal history of Canada continue yet again, except this time we have the privilege of sheer geographical luck to shield us from accountability. Although the phrase never again may be reserved in history books for empty speeches and emptier promises, I wanted to turn them into action. This fall, I led my first activism-based initiative, Parcels for Palestine. It aimed to unite the local community in creating kits to aid the crisis in Gaza. However, to some extent, I found that the city's neutrality on the issue, and specifically youth activism, was problematic. On a base level, being treated as a commercial organization made it costly to obtain rentals. Furthermore, I felt I had to be secretive in mentioning that this event was for Palestine, and I was told by many to separate the aid aspect from the politics. What is this gross separation? To truly surpass the bounds of repeating history, it is necessary to understand the current circumstances that enable it. This forced famine, this lack of aid in Palestine, does not simply occur randomly. It is the result of undue bureaucracy. It is the result of layers of prejudice hidden behind a veil of false liberation. Recently, the City of Brampton launched a youth engagement plan, a strategy to empower youth leadership. More specifically, it emphasized the need for youth to be able to access tools to help them lead their communities. Unfortunately, this strategy failed to address one issue: the need to destigmatize global youth-based activism. To truly dismantle systemic oppression, you must empower those willing to make the change. And it's not just about my experience. According to the survey done by the National Youth White Paper on Global Citizenship, only 0.05% out of 1,008 students believe that they could make real global change. This demonstrates that, although youth are interested in engaging in global issues, they are often ill-equipped to do so. This ill-equipment is a result of a plethora of factors, from the fear of supposed repercussions to the lack of opportunity present on the municipal level. We cannot let this generation of youth become desensitized. We cannot extinguish the flame inside many youth to lead initiatives that contribute to a wider global environment. As we've sat here today, whether it be through my words or through the land acknowledgement, we have reflected on what it means to reconcile. Reconciliation that has been twisted under the guise of oppression. Under the words of my Palestinian friend Hala, living in the West means having privileges that should be human rights. It means being able to finish your education. It means being able to go to sleep every night without the fear of waking up under rubble. It means being able to live, and not just being physically alive. However, living in the West as a Palestinian means having to be careful about what you say, as it could result in suspension from school or consequences at work. But let me remind you, when South Africans took to the streets with their rallying cry, Amandala, they were not calling for the oppression of white people, but the dismantling of an apartheid state. When the Iranian population chants the words Azadi, they are not calling for the genocide of politicians, but rather political reform. And as Palestinians today say the words from the river to the sea, they are not calling for the genocide of Jews, but rather a call for peace, equality, and dignity that Palestinians rightfully deserve as the caretakers of the land. The words never again are not measured in time, nor the drasticity of changes, but rather the collective action to ensure that these tragedies never occur, regardless of where they are on the globe. Thank you.
Thank you, Jaya. Our next delegation is from Aisha Abdel Aziz, community organizer, Independent Jewish Voices.
Hi, can you guys hear me? Good morning, Mayor and councilors. My name is Aisha Abdelaziz, and I'm a local Jewish community member speaking on behalf of Independent Jewish Voices Canada, or IJV, in support of this motion. My mother is Jewish-Ukrainian, born in a Yiddish-speaking neighborhood of Montreal, and my father is Muslim-Egyptian, born in Cairo before moving to Toronto at the age of 13. My parents met in a Toronto high school, and I was born and raised in the Toronto area. I'm also a theoretical physicist with graduate studies completed at Stanford University. While at Stanford, I spent much time in the nearby Oakland, where I learned from Black liberation movements about the elements of racial caste systems and systems of apartheid. Today, I'm here to emphasize that Jewish Canadians across this country support the measures outlined in this motion. Independent Jewish Voices Canada is a grassroots Jewish organization that calls for Palestinian liberation. IJV's core campaigns are exactly aligned with the measures put forward in today's motion. First, IJV has firmly called for a full two-ways arms embargo on Israel, recognizing that stopping the flow of weapons is a primary step to preventing the ongoing genocide in Gaza. Second, IJV has its own Together Against Apartheid campaign, which mirrors the Apartheid-Free Communities Pledge. Third, IJV supports the broader global movement for boycott, divestment, and sanctions to dismantle apartheid and achieve justice for Palestine. Moreover, Canadians of all backgrounds increasingly understand the genocide in Gaza as a part of the ethnic cleansing built into a system of apartheid. Local residents of Brampton expect their representatives to reflect their will, and this motion does exactly that. The United Nations International Convention on the Suppression and Punishment of Crimes of Apartheid, ICSPCA, defines apartheid in Article 2, Section 3 as measures designed to exclude a racial group from participation in political, social, economic, and cultural life of a country, and the deliberate creation of conditions preventing the full development of such a group, particularly by denying their fundamental rights to freedom of movement, nationality, education, and the right to work. ICSPCA Article 2, Section 4 adds to the crime of apartheid in any measures designed to divide the population along racial lines by the creation of separate reserves and ghettos for the members of a racial group and the expropriation of landed property belonging to that group or its members. The Rome Statute of the ICC later codified apartheid as an international crime against humanity. So does Israel meet these definitions of apartheid? Amnesty International found in 2022 that Israel's system meets every element of the ICSPCA definition, imposing, quote, a regime of Jewish supremacy from the Jordan River to the Mediterranean Sea. Similarly, Human Rights Watch concluded in 2021 that Israel is committing the crimes of apartheid. And in 2021, Israel's own leading human rights organization, B'Tselem, concluded that Israel is an apartheid regime, writing, quote, the entire area Israel controls between the Jordan River and the Mediterranean Sea is governed by a single regime working to advance and perpetuate the supremacy of one group over another. End quote. The world's leading human rights bodies and legal experts are united. This is apartheid. It's also telling that South Africa was the first to bring Israel before the ICJ for the Gaza genocide. Palestinian scholar Haidar Aid, a refugee born in South Africa, writes that the so-called semi-autonomous zones in Palestine are modern-day Bantustans. South African Bantustans were fragmented enclaves to which Black South Africans were forcibly relocated and stripped of citizenship. In practice, the settler regime controlled the disconnected Bantustans and kept them underdeveloped. The Bantustans were designed to make segregation look like independence. Likewise, Palestinians today are confined to segregated ghettos like Gaza, where about 85% of the population are refugees expelled from Israel. This is but one example of how indigenous Palestinians are subject to apartheid in their homeland. So what must Brampton City Council do about this reality? Under international law and the UN Charter, all governments, including municipalities, are obligated to uphold human rights and international justice. Articles 4 and 6 of the Apartheid Convention require states to suppress, prevent, and punish apartheid and refrain from recognizing or assisting regimes that practice it. Municipal governments share these obligations through their partnerships and investments. Municipalities are where Canadian values take tangible form. Today's motion would align Brampton with the ICJ's ruling that no state or institution may aid or recognize a regime committing a genocide or apartheid. Standing against apartheid and genocide would also align with Brampton's diversity and inclusion framework, which calls on the city to foster human rights and equity both locally and globally. As a Jewish Canadian, I emphasize that justice for Palestinians does not threaten Jewish safety. It is the foundation for peace. Just as liberated Black South Africans did not harm European settlers, the liberation of Palestine will bring safety to all who live there. The fear that equality will bring harm to settlers is a projection of the violence inherent in settler colonial systems themselves. South Africa's liberation shows that when apartheid is replaced by inclusive democracy, everyone gains the possibility of a shared and just peace. Brampton is one of Canada's most diverse cities. By declaring itself an apartheid-free community and calling for a two-way arms embargo, this council affirms that diversity means more than coexistence. It means shared responsibility for justice. I urge you to pass this motion and stand on the side of justice and peace.
Thank you, Asha. Our next delegation is from Alina, Brampton resident, and the last name, I don't want to get it wrong, but Grazjizak.
Good morning, Mayor Brown and members of council. My name is Alina Grzejszczak. I am a Brampton resident. I've lived and worked in this community for 30 years. I came to Canada as an immigrant, and Brampton is the city of immigrants. We feel compassion for Palestinians because many of us have stories from our own countries of armed conflicts and military occupation from back home. The country of my origin was occupied by Germany for 5 years, and it deeply affected my parents, my own generation, and even the lives of my children. Israel is occupying Palestine for decades, and it continues to drop bombs, as we heard of yesterday. I am here to express my immense gratitude to our elected politicians for taking a stand to uphold rights of Palestinian people to live in peace. For the past 2 years, I've struggled to understand how can one country justify defending itself by committing disproportional atrocities on civilian population of another nation? How can the international community, like Canada, tolerate, justify, and aid the horrific acts of genocide and starvation perpetrated on Palestinian nation? Neither my ethnicity nor my religion have roots in Palestine or Israel. Yet, my own understanding of what is right and just has been deeply disturbed by hearing and seeing the news of events happening in Gaza, Israel, and the West Bank. Israeli-Palestinian conflict has been a divisive issue for a very long time. The recent events had intensified and exacerbated emotions of a large number of people around the world, including our communities and our families. Brampton Council is putting forward the motion to support the right of Palestinians to live in peace and to urge Canadian government to take decisive actions to hold the state of Israel accountable for their action in Gaza. Unfortunately, at the same time, the neighboring municipality of Vaughan steadfastly proclaims its unconditional support to Israel. City of Vaughan's stance is so strong that it leads some of their politicians to repress the voices of their own public employees to dare to criticize Israel's actions and defend Palestinians' rights. 3 months ago, York Region's paramedic has been fired immediately without the due process for criticizing publicly Israel action in Gaza. This paramedic is my daughter. She grew up in Brampton. She went to schools in Brampton. She learned the issues of justice and fairness for all here in Brampton. This case is In this case, the right to freedom of expression had been violated at the behest of municipal politicians. In contrast, it makes me, my family, and my friends proud to see that Brampton's elected representatives are indeed committed to upholding human rights, international humanitarian laws, and the dignity of all peoples. Passing this motion, Brampton Council will not only support people of Palestine in their struggle to live in peace, but also, possibly, heal the rift in our own communities. I'm imploring the mayor and each one of you councillors to consider this motion not only as a political one, but also as moral, ethical, and emotional. I hope in passing this motion, Brampton makes its own contribution to bringing an end to the genocide in Palestine. Thank you.
Thank you, Alina. Our next delegation is from a representative of the National Council of Canadian Muslims. I don't have the name. Do we have? Okay, great. For those that don't know, NCCM is one of Canada's most respected advocacy organizations for Muslims in this country, and the city of Brampton has been grateful to work with them on many occasions
Thank you so much,
in the
Mayor.
past.
Thank you so much, Mayor Brown, City Councilors. My name is Omar Kamisa. I am the Chief Mobilization Officer of the National Council of Canadian Muslims. I'm also joined by Basma Ramadan, our Student Advocacy Coordinator, who will be sharing our remarks today. The National Council of Canadian Muslims, NCCM, welcomes and strongly supports the motion. A few weeks ago, the Burnaby Council voted unanimously for Canada to impose a full two-way weapons embargo on the IDF and the transformation of the Gaza Temporary Residence Visa, TRV program, to safely and effectively reunify Gaza Canadian families. Since then, other cities, like city councillors in Edmonton, have made similar types of commitments to pass similar kinds of motions. The city of Brampton will be the first in Ontario to present and pass a similar motion that pushes for action in the face of starvation, murder, and displacement. This motion rightfully calls for a full two-way weapons embargo. It is a necessary step for Canada to align its policies with its stated commitment to human rights and international law. The motion calls for a ceasefire, makes clear that Canada refuses to support Israel's ongoing violations of international law. Even after the latest ceasefire announcement, Netanyahu has directed the military to carry out forceful strikes in the Gaza Strip. With the ongoing killing of Palestinians, many Palestinian Canadians are suffering. They are watching their families being wiped out right in front of their eyes. Many are desperately waiting to be united with their families, but the lack of an expedited process stands in the way of making this happen. Canada has a long history of compassion and leadership in family reunification, and this motion upholds the legacy by calling to expedite and expand the Gaza TRV program.
As Canadians, we have prided ourselves in stances against injustices. We have welcomed thousands of refugees. We have condemned war crimes and called for justice internationally. Our word cannot stay in mere words, but needs to be accompanied by action. This motion is a tool for us to continue this fight towards safety and justice. We think this motion can also be made stronger because safety starts at home. Canada needs to uphold its criminal code and ensure that anyone who has committed war crimes face injustice, regardless of their nationality. We cannot risk the safety of Canadians by allowing those people to walk freely in our streets. We care about the safety of all, and this is why Brampton should consider adding this to this motion. Passing this motion is a step toward aligning our actions with our values and standing in the right side of history. The cost of inaction is simply too high. Every delay means lives lost, more children suffering amputations without anesthesia, and more families starving under siege. Over 65,000 Palestinians have been killed, including 20,000 children and more than 170,000 injured. The failure to stop weapon transfers or to call for unfettered humanitarian aid only deepens this man-made catastrophe. If not now, then when? Thank you.
Thank you for that delegation from Omar and NCCM. We have a motion moved by Councillor Tour, seconded by Councillor Brard to receive the delegations. All those in favor? Motion carries. This takes us to our next item on the agenda, and to the clerk. We've received a number of items on consent, so the next item will be... Oh, that's the next item, okay. Okay. Everything else has been on consent, okay. So I believe we have a motion from Councillor Medeiros to send it to the motion to the Interfaith Council for input before it comes back to Council. All those in favor? Brampton's Interfaith. All those in favor? The motion carries. What's our next item to the clerk? Okay, are there any questions in the public or online? Okay, so our next item would then be bylaws. I have a motion moved by Councillor Paleshi, seconded by Councillor Brard, to approve the bylaws 178-2025 to 182-2025. All those in favor? Motion carries. We have our closed session update, 19.3, a verbal update about Stellantis. How long would the clerk require? 10 minutes, please. 10 minutes. So it is 10:17. We have a motion moved by Councillor Brar, seconded by Councillor Power, to move into closed session to deal with the following items. 19.3, verbal updates, Stellantis. All those in favor? Motion carries. We will return in closed session at 10:30. Thank you. Are we okay to start? Okay, we are back from closed session. To members of the public watching today, all meetings in council must start and end in public session. So when closed session is completed, we report out any actions arising from closed session. And in the continuing interest of transparent open government, we will report out in public session the outcomes from today's closed session. We have a motion we're going to put forward. Happy to move this motion and seconded by all of council. Councillor Power, you want to move the motion? Moved by Councillor Power, seconded by all of council. Whereas the city of Brampton provided land in 1984 to American Motors Corporation, whereas the city of Brampton has consistently been supportive of expansion of Stellantis and its predecessor companies, where City of Brampton launched a Buy Chrysler programs, otherwise supports Stellantis and endeavors. Now that be very resolved, the acting city solicitor be directed to seek intervenor status for the city of Brampton in any legal proceedings that may be initiated by the federal government or the province of Ontario in this regard that are deemed to be of interest to Brampton citizens and its workers. Recorded vote.
Mayor Brown, a recorded vote for the motion on screen, reporting out for 19.3. All those in favor, please stand. I see Councillor Medeiros, Councillor Power, Councillor Tour, Deputy Mayor Singh, Mayor Brown, Councillor Paleshi, Councillor Brar, and online we have Councillor Vicente. How do you vote?
Vote in favor.
That motion is carried.
That motion is carried unanimously. This takes us to our confirming bylaw. I have a motion moved by Councillor Medeiros, seconded by Councillor Paleshi to approve the confirming bylaw to confirm the proceedings and decisions from this meeting. All those in favor? Motion carries. This takes us to adjournment. Our next council meeting is Wednesday, November 19th at 9:30 a.m. I have a motion moved by Councillor Brar, seconded by Deputy Mayor Singh to adjourn today's meeting. All those in favor? Motion carries.